Well, we want to welcome right now to WFPK Patterson Hood from the Drive-By Truckers. Thank you, Patterson, for taking the time being with us.
Hey, thank you for having me.
The new release is great. We've been playing it a lot at WFPK, The Big To Do.
Bless you. Bless you.
And it's with the new label, I noticed, ATO.
Yeah, we this is our first record with them. They've been really fantastic. And of course, we're label mates now with Louisville's own My Morning Jacket,
Yeah.
and they're on ATO also, so it's been really good so far. It's been great.
Now you're also touring with Tom Petty.
Yes, ma'am. We start back tomorrow. We did 2 shows last month, just right before they went on like a 3-week break for the holiday, and so we resume tomorrow, and it's just outside of Indianapolis, but Noblesville, and it's great playing with them. They're like a big personal favorite of all of ours, so it's really cool.
Yeah, I was wondering what that would be like to open for someone or share the stage, with someone that maybe you've admired for a really long time.
Yeah, opening for your idols. It's super cool. It's never gotten to really do that before either, anything like that. We've done a few opening things for some, bands and arenas and stuff, but we're all huge Tom Petty and Heartbreaker fans.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. Also, Patterson, you've been doing a lot of producing on your own. You've
little bit, yeah.
Well, you've worked with 2 amazing artists that I know of for sure. Betty Levette.
Oh, yeah.
She was just here, by the way.
She's so
July
fantastic.
4th. She performed down here on the waterfront.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
Then that was a great album, the one that she put out it was a year or 2 ago with your band.
That was an amazing experience. She's something else. She's a dynamo.
How did you guys meet? I mean, how did you end up working with her?
She signed to a label called Anti Records, and kind of a label with kind of more of a punk rock history than anything. And but they've been signing some of these really amazing kind of older artists that like they put out a record on Porter Wagner right before he passed away, and they've got Mavis Staples on their roster now, and Tom Waits, who's just so huge and great, and so she signed to that label, and the guy that runs the label is a fan of our band, and he just heard in his head that he thought that he could hear us being her backup band, and we're so grateful that he had that vision, because it was kind of a dream project for us. All of us have always wanted to do one of those records where we back up, a true soul singer and get to kind of play that role as a soul band, because I can't sing like Betty Levette, so it gives me a chance to do something that we could never do on our own.
Was that the same sort of situation with Booker T? Because you produced his last record.
It was the same person put it together. Andy with Anti, he signed Booker, and when Booker sent him his demos of his new songs he wanted to record, he had demoed them all playing guitar. They're all guitar based, which Booker's known as a B3 player, and Andy's like, these songs are great. They're all guitar songs. He's like, I've always wanted to make a guitar record, and no one's ever let me before. And Andy's like, well, do we have the band for you? And so he called us and asked us if we'd do it, and we cut that record in like 4 days.
Wow.
And that was, working with Booker was one of the greatest experiences of my life, for sure.
I would think so. And then it got nominated for a Grammy, I believe.
It won, yeah.
It did win. Okay, I didn't realize that. And then Neil Young makes an appearance on the record?
Right, he plays on it. We didn't get to work with him in person. It was kind of weird. They recorded us, and then they went to California and recorded him separately, and that was I would have loved to have gotten to watch that, but it was still cool being on the same record with him.
Now, this new record you recorded in Atlanta or Georgia?
In Athens, Georgia.
In Athens, Georgia. Okay, tell us about the recording of that, because I guess in the past, have you recorded at different studios or been kind of spread out, or no?
We've recorded the majority of our stuff at the same studio as this one. It's it's actually 5 minutes from my house, and it's so great.
That's convenient.
And it's next door to our band's space that we have. Our practice space, office, everything is all in the same building with it now. It wasn't then, but we just recently moved there. But it's great. It's David Barbie's studio. David and a guy named Andy LeMaster that does a lot of work with Bright Eyes and stuff. They own the studio together, and it's real small and nothing fancy, but it's a great little room. It sounds great, and all the gear in there is really cool. Old tube amps and stuff, and they have a old school, echo chamber thing and plate reverb and stuff. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
But we had fun doing that.
And you also had a couple of your members writing songs on this record, like Shauna, who's doing that, and Cooley, both contributed songs to the new album.
Sure, yeah, and Cooley's contributed to all of them so far, but he had but this was, I guess, the second one we've had Shauna doing songs on, and so it's really good. We had a whole bunch of songs. We ended up recording 2 albums last year, and we've got another one that's actually coming out, probably early next year. That a lot of it came from those same sessions, but it was a really creative time for the band.
When I looked at your website, I noticed that there's a documentary about you guys.
Right. Yeah, this filmmaker from D.C. Made a documentary. It's actually several years ago. He started it in 2005 and filmed it through, I guess, into 2008, early 2008. So it was kind of a tumultuous time for the band. So he kind of captured one of the darker chapters of our story, but it became it's a beautiful little film. You did a good job on that.
Yeah. Well, you guys are such a great story band anyway. One of the things I love about your songs is that they're like these little, they're little movies, right? And I remember this latest record got reviewed in Entertainment Weekly, and I think the critics said you got an A rating. They said,
nice.
The Drive-By Truckers are here to remind you that no matter how bad your life is, it can always be worse.
Yeah.
Because your stories are so incredibly, they're heavy, and I think that must be so cathartic to write stuff like that.
Oh, it certainly is. That's where it comes from. Is a way of figuring out how to process the things in life that bother you, so that's where a lot of the songs we write definitely come from that. We come from a town that has a lot of history, and a lot of it's kind of dark and twisted, and I've always loved the kind of storytelling tradition, and particularly like Southern Gothic literature and stuff. So so that's a huge influence. It's probably a bigger influence of what we do than any musical influence, honestly.
Yeah.
Is the kind of darker literary aspect of it, but at the same time we're a rock and roll band, and we like to turn it up loud, and it's a fun time, hopefully. So
wanted to mention too that Drive-By Truckers are going to be taking the stage at 6:15 this evening, playing till 7:30. They're just going to do one big powerful set, and that'll be on the main stage on the Great Lawn for Forcastle. We're talking with Patterson Hood, and Patterson, you also mentioned that it was a tumultuous time, at least in terms of when this guy was filming you all for your documentary.
Right.
Things are more stable now. I mean, does it feel like you've gelled and reformed, or
definitely? We went through. Any band that spends this much time on the road is going to have growing pains and kind of have to, go through a certain amount of changes. Is just spending 200 plus days away from your family takes a toll, amongst all the other things that can. So in that, that movie was being filmed around the time we were breaking the 1,000 show mark of a few short years in a row, and it was kind of at the breaking point of some stuff. So we were at a point where we kind of had to strip it down and rebuild it a little bit, and so that the movie kind of takes you right to that point, and it's so it's a little bit of a dark tale, but it all, I think everybody's doing a lot better now, it seems like.
Was that around the time you were doing your solo record, or did that come shortly after?
I recorded that record during that period.
Okay,
there's not much about it on there, but it definitely, was that was another part of that story anyway, for sure.
I understand, you took most of last year off.
For us, I think we played 58 shows or something last year, but for us, that's a year off. And then we recorded, we recorded 2 records, and we put out, I guess, 4, because we counting the Booker record and a live record and the record of like rarities and stuff that finished out the New West contract, the fine print, and then my solo record came out last year too. So it was a crazy busy year. We just didn't play as many shows.
Right, and you were sick for a little bit.
One of the few tours we had to cancel most of because I got pneumonia and pleurisy.
Oh my gosh!
That's the sickest I've ever been, and hopefully won't be for a while.
Yeah, you feeling good now?
Oh, I feel fine. Yeah, I feel good.
Awesome.
Little bit of a headache today, but it's going to go away soon.
Yes, it is. All right. Well, thank you, Patterson, so much for coming by. It's been great to have you today, and we're looking forward to your set. Can't wait to hear it. The Big To Do is a new album on ATO Records, Drive By Truckers, live from the main stage, coming up at 6:15, and we're going to broadcast it live on WFPK.